going to be an hard one
Ronnie
to call,
OSullivan.
you would feel, if he went on form this week. You'd have to put Ronnie OSullivan slight favourite because he has played absolutely flawless snooker, but then Neil Robertson, every time he's had to rise to the task, he has. I think, as Willie said in the early intros, it's all going to be about the start for Neil Robertson. He'll have to get off to a good start, win a couple of the early frames, put Ronnie under as much pressure as possible. As we've seen all week, when Ronnie starts knocking him in, at the moment he's very, very confident in life, not just on the snooker table. He's in a real good place off the table as well, which is obviously improved his game immensely. I mean, you know, I had a little chat to him earlier on, and I said, life begins at 40, Ron. And his exact words to me, I told everybody I was playing like this at 14, 15. And he did, but I think it's took him that long to really enjoy yourself, to create a path for where he wants to go, for him to allow himself to express himself the way he's playing at the moment. He's playing like it's exhibition snooker, but obviously we know it's very serious match play.
Yes, indeed. The final this afternoon and this evening will take place over the best of 17 frames, so the first to 9 will be the victor. Neil Robertson started last night's semi-final rather hesitantly. Can't help but feel he needs to be more positive early on against Ronnie OSullivan, who could really steal a march on him if he doesn't start playing well straight away from the word go.
There's nothing too shabby about that one. Cued that to absolute perfection. Just got to be a little bit careful with this blue.
Six.
There you go. You can see a near capacity house in attendance this afternoon, and I'm sure it'll even be fuller tonight. The concluding session of this year's final. Had wonderful attendances here this week for the Welsh Open. It's been very heartening to see as a snooker player myself.
Neil
He had
Robertson,
a choice
6.
of a red in the right centre, but decided that he's going to keep things nice and tight. Be a little bit disappointed, Neil Robertson, after knocking that great long red in, only to make 6 there. He's a lot thinner than he'd have liked, Ronnie, there. Cue ball's out of bulk. This is an half chance for Neil. Well, this is a much better start.
Realistically.
His logo's just come off. Talking to some of the players this week, they've obviously a lot of them have them sewn on so they can't come off, but the ones that have sort of got double-edged tape on them and sticky, they've lost them and they've found them stuck to their cue, and as they've come through they've stuck to their chin. As I was saying, this is a much better start than what Neil started in the semi-final. Looks up for this.
Seven. Eight.
As always, it'll take both players just a few shots to become accustomed to the speed of the bed of the table and the response off the cushion rails. Neil already trying to work out a way of bringing the black ball into play. You see in our camera shot there is a plant there to the left corner, but I don't think Neil will need to bother with that yet.
Thirteen. 14. 19.
This has been an hard-crafted little effort from Neil. Well, as I'm saying that,
Neil Robertson,
Mr.
19.
Red that he would have fully expected to have made. Just wasn't plain sailing, that effort. Everything just covering each other.
Yes, and now that plant that I mentioned earlier could come into play. There it is, and there it goes. And if one is not on the colour here, he'd be very disappointed with himself.
1.
Overrun by a couple of feet, but he may still be on the brown. It would have been a plant he fully expected to get.
He knew he'd be leaving himself a lot of distance between cue ball and the red to the right corner. Well, he walked in having a little play around with his tip. Tom noticed it as he came down the stairs, and then as he sort of went to shake hands and that again, he was having a little fiddle around with it. Maybe a couple of loose fibres just sticking out from the side. Overchipped that one.
Ronnie OSullivan, 5.
I just wonder there how many players would have tucked in behind the yellow rather than attempt the brown that Ronnie did. Because given the position of the reds, in a devil's own job to escape from the snooker and not leave Ronnie back in. There's the cue ball going. Ooh. Well, that's rebounded quite nicely for Neil from the pocket jaws. Quite well set here on the brown into the green pocket, as Ronnie just fiddles around once again with his tip. As Darren said, probably a couple of loose fibres just sticking out which catch your eye when you're cueing.
Brown. 5.
Made that shot look very easy. Still not straightforward. Just made things awkward. Pink is at
6.
the other end of the table. Black is tied up. So you've had to concentrate in the few opportunities he's had in either the blue or one of the bulk colours. It's okay. So a couple more shots now from being plain sailing. We're in pot in this red. The bottom one of the 3. As long as he keeps getting the right side of the blue. This could be a frame winning chance now.
30.
Ideal now, he'd like the red to the bottom of the 3. That's what he'd like to get on. And he might even play for the black, just the red just above the black, and try and move the red off the black. But there is risk with that shot. That's what he's looking at.
$18. $90.
About 3/4 of the table time so far, Neil Robertson, in this opening frame, which is why he's only a few more pots away from winning it. Hasn't needed to bother with the black. He may have the opportunity here in potting this red to stun into the red.
24.
It's to the left of the black to free it up.
$25. $32.
So red, blue and red to secure this opening frame for Neil. Was this in? Just.
33. $38. $39.
Red was frame ball for Neil. Play the black here and stun into the red that's nearest to the black, which would kick one along the cushion towards that left corner. Took his eye off the black, but Ronnie, if he does come back to table, we'll need 2 snookers. He decides against it, so it is Neil Robertson who takes the opening frame of this best of 17 frames final. He leads by 1 frame to 0.
Yes. Yeah, good start by Neil Robertson. Worth a little look at how these two measure up at this stage. We see there that, well, not too far apart in the world rankings, Neil at 3 and Ronnie at 5, the 27 ranking titles to Neil's 11. In terms of their career head-to-heads, well, Ronnie edges that one as well, 9-5. And perhaps the interesting thing, Willie Thorne, is that they haven't met too much in the last 2.5 years. Only once, in fact. But the last time they met, it went to Robertson. That was in the Masters in 2015 in the semi-final.
You would think with them being 2 of the best players in the world and obviously seeded very, very highly, they meet quite often. But obviously Ronnie's been picking and choosing his tournaments. Obviously all the majors, they won't necessarily meet. They could be in the other half of the draw, so they've virtually got to get to the final to meet. And It's, as we talked about, post-match or pre-match, it was the fact that Robertson had to get off to a good start. That would suit Robertson, a really scrappy opening frame. It kept Ronnie off the table. Ronnie never got any cue action going at all there, any fluency at all. Robertson now has got a foothold in the match, and like we talked about earlier, he has to make a good start.
Yeah, and Ronnie has lost 3 of his opening frames this week. We made that point earlier, but
absolutely
it's not
amazing, isn't it? Amazing. That.
Let's go back then. Robertson with the advantage at this stage.
Yes, well, I don't know whether I would say it was a scrappy first frame, but yeah, Robertson knocked in a couple of real good long pots. I do agree with Willie. Robertson will be over the moon with the way the first frame went. Obviously, Ronnie's not going to be worried at all at the minute. There's a long way to go. I think what's most worrying at the minute is the way he was playing around with his tip in the first frame. I haven't seen him doing that at all this week. It looked like for a minute that red was going to go to the right corner, but Neil Robertson in a bit of trouble now.
Both these players will be glad to see that that black ball is still in open play. They love to attack and break build. I wouldn't call them tacticians, although both are very proficient in that department of the game. Just caught that red too thickly, Ronnie. Which meant he caught another red on its path back to bulk, but would have left a much easier opener than this for Neil Robertson. Very tricky red to left corner if you want to go for it. It's fraught with danger.
Well, the way he's having a little good look at this, does that red just the side of the cluster go into that right corner pocket? Difficult shot. He's going to have to play this with pace. It's tight. It was very tight. He got the second part of the shot right. He's got a reasonable cue ball. He has left Ronnie a chance to the left corner. It's all about missing the reds with a cue ball. Very tight, that one.
Good effort from Ronnie, but hasn't quite got into the match as such yet. Hasn't got his cue arm timing and rhythm going just yet. Early days in this match from his point of view. Only scored 5 points in that first frame. Well, it's amazing how Neil's found the gaps there and not cannoned any of the reds. And if he's not on the black, Very unlucky. Not so sure he thinks it goes. And if he has to play the blue, not easy to get on his next red.
Yes, Tom, I think even if he can get through the potting angle of this black, it's a lot thinner than he'd have liked, and there's no guarantees of the control of the cue ball. He'll do well to miss the red on the top cushion. And obviously in potting the black, he is going to tie it up somewhat. It's going to go back on its own spot. So we could see a little bit of a similar pattern to the previous frame here.
Yes, I think he's decided the black does go. He should be able to avoid the cannon on the red, just to the left of the black, the one that's on the top cushion. Like you say, Darren, when it respots, it'll be tied up for now.
Black.
Yes, I didn't think he could miss the red on that top cushion, but that black now is truly tied up.
8.
Was he lucky, and can he get to this red to left centre? This will be a bonus if this one goes. If not, I think he's got one just at the top. Get chipped back to the corner, but he's already down, so this red must go. Again, there wasn't much room there, but he's played it very well.
9.
Back in good position now.
Just had a look there to see if the black will pot into this right corner at some point. Possibly to see if the red that's to the left of the black will also pot there. Obviously does, because he's played for it. And when he pots this, Neil, that really will open the black up.
40.
It was a good black that he knocked in previously. I think he had to bend it in slightly with side just to straighten the potting angle up, which is why he did cannon that red. Couldn't play it as a stun shot.
15.
In potting this black now, he could really clear that black spot area. This is a good chance now developing for Neil.
$22.
He's just having a little look to see if he can pot this red to left corner and stun over into the 2 just to the right of the black. He'd love to play that shot, because as Dominic said, that will clear that black spot area, make things a little bit easier for him. I think he thought in potting that black he was going to get a much thicker contact on them 2 reds. Well, he's played just a cannon the black, and that's worked out okay. That one could have gone wrong. Be quite happy with the finished article there.
Sit. $31. 36.
We can play the stun run around.
37.
A bit lower on this black than he'd have liked. He's having a look to see if he can get into the cluster of reds. Have to go right to the bottom of that cue ball. Well, he just caught him a bit too full, I think. Might still be on this red to right
44.
centre. And if he is, that's a bonus. Just meant to catch the outside of the red he initially hit. Wanted that cue ball to go to the right.
Sure, Neil would be the first to admit he was somewhat fortunate to have that red on into the right centre. And now it's gone in. From his point of view, ought to be plain sailing. Already 51 points in the lead. 2 or 3 more reds and colours. Take a 2-0 lead.
51. $52. Yep. 57.
So all his work still not quite done. It's going to require one more good shot.
$58.
He's played that, he's hit that very well. He had more of an angle on that red than he would have liked. Not on this red as well as he'd have
65.
liked, because he caught the black a bit thick then in potting it. Just went in off the jaw. Still no problem though.
66.
So 66 ahead, 67 on the table. A nice easy blue. I think it's fair to say that Robertson is going to go 2 frames up. And this has been a completely different start
71.
to Neil to his semi-final. He's come out of the blocks like a little whippet.
$72.
I'm sure this crowd would love him to get a century early on in this match. I needed a lucky little kiss there, and he hasn't got it. This is going to require a real good pot to continue this break and hopefully go on for the century. Now we're going to see a Neil Robertson special. Why not? Now will Ronnie come to the table, and
Robertson 78.
I think it's a good decision for Ronnie OSullivan, to be fair. He hasn't had any table time whatsoever, really. This is not a easy red. And he'll have no aspirations, I don't think, of winning this frame, Ronnie. This is all about just to have a couple of shots, pot a couple of balls. Well, it hasn't got any. He might even concede now. Obviously, the gentleman thing is to concede after your opponent's played his shot. And Ronnie is a gentleman when he's out there. There is value in doing this, trying to keep Neil on the table a little bit longer. Neil's found his rhythm. Ronnie be just trying now to knock him out of that. With a bout of safety.
Frame conceded. Frame Neil Robertson.
Well, Ronnie's had enough of that one. Neil Robertson didn't make the pot. He had a lovely break of 78. Neil Robertson will be happy. Ronnie OSullivan's in unknown territory. He's gone 2-0 down. That's the first time this week. What can he do? Neil Robertson leads 2 frames to 0.
Yes, a banana for Neil Robertson, a little break for Ronnie OSullivan. It is an unusual position for Ronnie, as we know. I mean, relatively less damaging because it's the best of 17 frames, but we've not seen Ronnie had to fight back from 2 down.
It'll be interesting to see how he performs now. The fact that it is the first time he's had his back against the wall. Plenty of time, of course, with it being the best of 17 now, not the best of 9 or 11. Ronnie at the minute is not there. You know, he's just not had a chance in the balls yet where you could expect him to score 50 or 60. Robertson exactly what he had to do, get off to this good start. Essential now for Ronnie to get a foothold in the match. I mean, if Robertson could manage to go 3-1 or 4-1 at the interval, at 4-0 at the interval, he'll be absolutely delighted, and he will then think he's got every chance of winning as well.
Which I guess is why he's popped out for a little break at this early stage, just to gather his thoughts slightly and make Robertson just hang on and wait in there a second.
It's interesting there, the first time this week he's actually took table time because his opponent had monopolised the table for 2 frames. He's had a little bit of practice there, which is right. Darren alluded to it in commentary. Now and again, you've just got to get your cue arm going, get a feel of the table. OK, you played on the table last night, but 24 hours is a long time sometimes in snooker, and of course your cue arm, might have slept bad, you could have had a stiff arm or something like that, but he came in and practiced just before the match, didn't he, and had half an hour. So obviously he's still feeling OK. I think this is a massive frame now for Ronnie. I mean, because we know Ronnie can sometimes be a little bit petulant if things are not going his own way. Let's see what happens.
Let's go back in then. Robertson 2-0 up.
Yes, I think Niels. Willis hit the nail on the head there. This, I think for me, is the first important little juncture of this match so far. When he were to fall 3 frames behind, it could be a very uphill task for him. Never really settle down in any match until you do get the scoreboard rolling, get that first frame on the board. And he'll be very keen to do that as soon as he can.
get through to this red, to the right corner. Well, he's going to play the safety, so even if he can't get through to it, he doesn't fancy it. That's something we haven't seen all week. Ronnie hitting a bulk colour. And Lee's got a, I should say Neil's got a perfect chance here making this red through the gap between the red and black. Well, I think he's had a bit of a kick there. The size of the sigh he gave, Ronnie would be quite happy. And most players have had the cue ball cleaned there, but Ronnie doesn't, just gets on with it. Well, you could see the red then took off.
Yep.
Well, I'm saying he don't have to get it clean, but obviously he's got some kind of either a bit of chalk on there or some foreign body. This is his first real opportunity in this match so far, Ronnie. He's not happy with this tip. A couple of shots ago, when he was queuing off the cush, you could see it was just fraying on the one side a little bit.
One.
And obviously it's annoying him as he's looking down the barrel of the cue. When things go good, it doesn't really matter what you're looking at. When things not going so well, any little thing can put you off.
9. $16. Yep.
Can be very off-putting when you're about to strike the cue ball, but you see a spot of chalk or something that distracts you. That's why I had it cleaned there.
And this is the shot. Deep screw shot into this pack. Should pull the red to the right, to the corner. I thought there's no way this could go wrong. I think it has gone slightly astray. He's still got a shot at a red to yellow pocket. He's got a thin one to the left middle. But he would have expected to have been real easy on something from there. Well, there's an exhibition shot for you. If he had missed that, he was leaving Neil Robertson 3 easy reds. Just got down, bump. Doesn't mean nothing, that shot. He played it as if that red was right over the hole.
$31. $32.
Another opportunity here for Ronnie to bring further reds into play. Ah, that's gone wrong. Play to kind of both reds together there, which would have left him nicely on this red to the right corner. See, he caught the left-hand one fully. Cue ball ran through an inch or two, blocking his intended red. But fortunately for Ronnie, he can still pop the red into the left corner or the left centre.
43. $44.
And he's in full flow.
51.
Just makes it look so easy.
52.
He must be the best striker of the ball. He's developed a technique. Just repeats itself, shot in, shot out.
59. $60.
That was a terrible contact there that Ronnie suffered. It could mean end of break. Just a few more pots needed to get his first frame in this final. Unfortunately, he's going to require a second opportunity due to that kick. Excellent safety nevertheless, found a perfect length of the cue ball. O'Neill, if he desired, does have the opportunity of a long red to the right corner. You see the kick there, the cue ball and the red both leaving the bed of the table. Yes, and of all the shots, no chance of getting on the black then. The cue ball would ordinarily have run on at least a foot further.
One.
Well, they don't come any better than that. He's got a long way to go just to get back into this frame. Never mind winning it. But what a body blow now this would be for Ronnie OSullivan. If Neil Robertson somehow was to make a counter-attack with this effort. What a great long red that was. And you can just see it. Ronnie was sat in his chair thinking probably he'll drop this red in. After he's had the kick, looks like he's going to win the frame for definite. You can't legislate for a kick. This could be a massive body blow. Long way to go though.
Good thinking this from Neil. His train of thought, I'm sure, is to get top side of the blue, which he has done. Can now play little cannon into that trio of reds and the pink. If he knows he'll be guaranteed to be on a red to the right centre at worst. Well, that's finished possibly as bad as it was ever likely to do from there. He's not really on the red to the right centre, too severely hampered. He's pushed a red to this top cushion. I think the only possible red, apart from the one into the right centre, is a very thin one into this right corner.
So awkward, them shots. He's done well there. In and out of bulk now off this blue. So missed the yellow. That was his only
20.
Good part of that shot, really. Just wanted to slay. If he'd slid past the yellow, he'd have had a shot at the two reds. Much easier shot than this. So reprieve, Ronnie, I'm
Neil
sure,
Robertson,
would have been
20.
feeling the worst. He'll be relieved.
Could be in for a rather tense finale to this third frame. He'll be bitterly disappointed at having cannon the yellow there and potting the blue to the left centre. Made a very poor safety by here standards afterwards as well. Well, it was a shot to nothing on the red, hit it way too thickly. He's got another chance here. Needs all the remaining balls in order to steal this third frame.
Just come high enough for this red.
6.
He'll be playing now off the red, either for pink or black. Probably pink would be his better choice. If he can get real close to this red on the top cushion, half ball, he'll play the drop in. Otherwise, I think we might just see him hit around the table and play the snooker in behind the black. He's just having a little look to see where he needs to put the cue ball to get as close as he can to that red.
Seven.
Now, the one thing he doesn't want to be is dead straight on this pink, because if he is, he won't be able to get close to this red, and he's got a nice little angle there. Right in behind the red he wants to be now.
Yep.
And that there is just about perfect, I think. He's got a little angle, he can just drop this red in, perfect weight, and he'll be about half ball on the black.
Yes, he finishes nice and lowly on the black. He could have a natural angle to play for the yellow to the left centre. Oh, is this red in? Oh, Neil.
Neil Robertson, 30.
Well, that could have been a very important part of this final so far. That could be a mini turning point. If Neil could have gone on and made that clearance, would have kept Ronnie under the cosh. Wouldn't normally miss those, but he knew the importance of it. And now the red's gone in. Neil finds himself needing a snooker. I don't think he expects to have the opportunity to play for it. So Ronnie OSullivan will get his first frame on the scoreboard in this year's final. I just wonder if that misread from Neil Robertson could come back to haunt him.
$13. $17. $22. $28.
In goes the pink. Ronnie's
Ronnie
not too
also.
pleased with the contact maybe that he received from it, but nevertheless, aided by his early break of 60, he gets his first frame on the board, but still trails Neil Robertson by 2 frames to 1.
Well, Ronnie off for another break, and he'll be feeling slightly better now after that. But what a potentially pivotal moment, Willie.
But in that frame, Ronnie potted a great red. We looked like he was going to win the frame at one visit. Broke down, unfortunately, because of a kick. Then Neil Robertson looked like winning the frame until he had this shot on the top cushion. This is what's surprising me this week. We're going to see this shot now. Whenever you catch the near jaw, as we see this, just caught the near jaw, they're not going in. And what I can't understand is why there's been so many breaks in this tournament. I mean, considering the pockets are so tight. It was interesting to just note Ronnie there having a chat with the referee. He feels like the cue ball was collecting either hairs or something off the cloth virtually all the time. So whether he's asking for the cue ball to be changed or not, I'm sure we'll find out later on. But he just have a little chat with the referee, as we saw there.
Yeah,
just
it's been cleaned a couple of times already, hasn't
Ronnie's
it?
more than he's ever done in the match, I think, Ronnie. He's haven't cleaned all week, hasn't
But
he?
how do you explain the whole pocket thing, the jaw thing? I mean, they're regulation sizes,
Absolutely.
aren't they? What is it about? Is it about moisture in the air, the atmosphere? What makes the difference?
The thing is, they're exactly the same templates every tournament. They use the same templates. Virtually the same fitter comes to every tournament. So why some pockets should play so tight? Maybe it's the cloth, maybe it's the... I mean, even though they're all shaved exactly the same, so the cloth should be the same all the time, sometimes it's different. It's always been the same over the 25, 30 years that I've been involved in the game. Sometimes you get the pockets tight, sometimes they're not tight. They apparently appear tight this week, and the centuries have been amazing.
Yeah, we've had lots of centuries, haven't we, nonetheless, despite that. We'll no doubt touch on that a little later on, but let's go back into the arena then with Ronnie back into this one. Robertson now leading 2-1.
So in the context of this match now, I'd say this is quite an important frame. They're all important, obviously, but Neil Robertson, you'll want to reassert yourself. You want to go into the mid-session interval with a 3-1 lead. He'll feel his job has been done. That's what he would have been thinking coming out into the match. To have any chance, I want to take minimum 2, but if I can, take 3 out of the first 4. As Willie said, it looked like, for all intents and purposes, Ronnie was going to win that third frame with a big break, barring the kick. So probably the right result in the end. But, Neil had a great chance of pinching it, and he'll know that.
Played that pretty well, Neil. Clear to see now, the way the reds are spread, that one mistake could be the player's last in this 4th frame before the mid-session interval. So imperative, any safety shot played here is a good one.
Yes, he'd be so tempted for this red to the right centre, but he can get his cue just under the cue ball to get it back behind this black off this red. He'll be happy with that. Obviously, it's important to get the cue ball as tight as you can to get that cush to eliminate that shot, because Neil Robertson can play the same now. Lifting a bit of his cue, playing it with bottom and left hand side. He's got to play it at pace, so the only thing he's got to be careful, he must get the cannon from red to red or colour. Doesn't want that red coming back this end of the table. Well, he missed the cannon, and he's been a bit fortunate there. He has left the red to right centre. I'm trying to keep the pressure on. I think earlier in the week, this just shows how important this match is to Ronnie. Earlier in the week, he'd have been rolling that red to right centre. He's gone for near enough everything. For his opponents, the problem's been it's all gone in. Now that's what I was on about. That cue ball is welded. That top cushion. Ronnie could be forced to go in for this. Into right centre. He won't want to play it, and if he can think of a safety shot, I'd love to stick the cue ball down with the corner pocket.
Ronnie felt that he had to take that one on, committed fully to it. A great pot, but now that the red's gone in, he's got to consider himself rather unfortunate not to be on at least some sort of a pot on a colour. At least it's dug himself out of the hole that he was in there. Problem is, it's not easy here to come up with a constructive safety shot.
Ronnie OSullivan 1.
To go with that red. Played in such a way that he always knew he was going to get a reasonable cue ball. These reds are now nicely spaced right around the fullness of the snooker table. Just a little bit wide with that red, but where's it going? It was nearly a fluke, not quite.
Yeah, he's left this on, you know. Neil can get past the pink here. What a chance this is. Ever so disappointed, Neil, if he couldn't win the frame from a opportunity such as this. Absolutely everywhere, these reds. Like a cherry tree.
Seven. Eight. 30. 40. 90. 20.
All about keeping tight control now with his cue ball. He's got enough loose reds in the open to make sure that he wins this frame before it starts getting too difficult.
25.
Just got to keep ensuring he gets high value colours with the reds. Like Dominic said, they are sat like soldiers, yeah.
26.
Obviously he can afford to have a couple of low value colours. There's enough reds at the other end of the table that he can take pinks and the black off. Off this next red he'll be playing for the blue to come down for these reds. This end of the table.
28.
He'll be trying to leave the two nearest the left centre and the one on the back cushion to last. I think that cue ball just travelled a little bit further than he liked there. Which has now left him a lot further away from this red than he would have liked.
34. 35.
Neil Robertson freely admitted to me earlier that there was a time when he used to roll into the club about 1 or 2 in the afternoon, just do 2 or 3 hours practice, but not these days. Much harder worker than that. Practices several hours every day, and I think that's clear to see when you look at his consistency of their games.
42.
Great century break makers, there's no doubt of that.
43. 48. 49.
'He just needs this black and 2 more reds. Well, in fact, in potting this red, he'll just
56.
need a colour. As long as it's pink or black. And they're not hanging about. Averaging about 14-15 minutes a frame.
57.
He's took these very well. As Dom said, he will have expected to have scored quite a few when he came to the table. Whether he thought he'd win the frame from it is another thing, but he's took these very smartly. He's going to enjoy his interval. 3-1 ahead of Ronnie OSullivan.
64.
We haven't seen a century yet. In this final, could this be the one?
69.
chance now. It's that one awkward red.
$75. $76.
Well, that wasn't a great contact. He's a lot thinner on this blue than he'd have liked. He's having to look. He might even feel his value. I was going to say cannon the red off the blue, but he's going for a more difficult green. And it's not to be.
Robertson,
He'll be quite happy. That's 76 goes. The very next round, 13-12. It's a great match. Probably my most memorable match. Here we are. I'm sat in the commentary box, and he's still doing it. He retired at 40, and Ronnie's looking like he's playing his best snooker at 40.
Ronnie OSullivan, 5.
That's another good safety from Neil Robertson. Of course, O'Sullivan, he glides around the table slowly but surely, using his skill, touch and vision to separate reds from the pack and then clear the table with ease and beauty that others do not offer. Exactly what Darren was saying when he played against him. All the professional players like to watch him play, and that says it all.
Crowd shouting out, getting right behind Ronnie. He's a big favourite with the crowd, the same as Jimmy White used to be in the late 80s and 90s. And the same as Alex Higgins in the 70s and 80s, but Ronnie was a long way off with that one. That's probably the most he's missed a shot all week here in Cardiff. It wasn't easy, and he was having to force it a little bit. But Neil Robertson now has got a great chance. He's just laughing. The seagulls are making a bit of a noise, bit of a racket on the roof. You can hear them in the box. And if we can hear them in the box, they can hear them at the table.
Three. Four.
Well, not quite as planned. 1 minute seemed after that O'Sullivan missed that he'd have a great opportunity here with the reds well spread, but now he's shaking his head. If he part of the green, it looks as if he could cannon into the brown. The brown isn't a great angle to come down for the reds. So it's just a roll-up. 4 points from that.
Neil Robertson, 4.
He'd be disgusted, Neil.
You won't see many shots played better than that. Played that to absolute perfection.
Another good safety shot. I think Neil Robertson is well aware that Ronnie OSullivan's long potting has been very good in the Welsh Open this season. Good to see him for quite a while. The only trouble is his safety is good as well.
Well, a good safety shot. Post and header from Neil Robertson. Well, he's just looking to see where he needs to put the cue ball to get on pink or black. He'd love to get on the black. Looks very straight on this red. Well, he's got a little angle, so...
One.
He screwed up for the pink and he's overdone that slightly. He's made this a lot more difficult than it should have been. Playing with bottom to try and cannon into the two reds below the spot. It's gone perfect.
7. Eight.
These are the sort of moments that OSullivan is very strong on. He's known as that Neil be so disappointed he didn't make more than 4 points from an early opening. No, a poor safety shot. Ronnie likes to pounce on them now. Keep them thinking in the chair.
30. 40. 20. $21.
So the black will be going back on his own spot after this next shot. This is where now it starts to get a little bit awkward for Ronnie. Gotta make sure he gets eye on the black.
28.
Come back for these reds. Near the cushion.
29.
That's just about perfect. You can elect to play on the loose red or play to cannon. Played for the loose red.
36. 37.
Try to play a clever little shot there.
44.
Try to cannon them two reds and move the one to the left corner. He's a lot thinner on this red than he liked. We've already seen these corner pockets, how tight they are. No problem with the red. He's just lost the cue ball. Knocked the red in very confidently. That was a lovely played
51.
shot as well. Not a bottom slow drag. Very well controlled.
$52. $59. 60.
Well, unexpected.
Ronnie OSullivan,
the
60.
blank. Robertson always carrying on, but not in snookers. O'Sullivan will be back just one behind the 3-2.
One. Eight. Neil Robertson, 8.
Neil Robertson, of course, entitled to play on. He's 53 points behind, so he won't play on now. But you feel he would have played on because he needs to settle himself if he's had two mental blows in this frame. But he knows, because he knows he's punished people himself enough when they've missed chances, and O'Sullivan's the expert at that.
6. Six in the frame. Ronnie OSullivan.
So Ronnie OSullivan then pulls one back and trails Neil Robertson now by 3 frames to 2.
Yes, and obviously Ronnie will be feeling a lot better. Neil Robertson, he had a great chance in that last frame. He's played a poor positional shot, as we can see, with his shot ampered over the green, landed dead straight on the red. I can only presume if he'd played it much harder with the bottom, it'd have swung the cue ball into the green. Didn't fancy the shot from green or brown, so he done a little roll up behind the yellow, and obviously then he played a loose safety a couple of shots later, which allowed Ronnie then to get in and create that terrific 60 break to get him right back in to this match. Big difference, 4-1 behind to 3-2.
Thank you. Frame 6.
Neil Robertson might have missed a trick there. Anyway, he's breaking off now. The 6th frame. Got to put that behind him.
Once again, a big audience in, which you'd expect for the final, especially with these 2 top players in it. And they enjoy these safety bouts. Not for long spells, I shouldn't think, but I think you do appreciate the skill of the players stopping the other player playing. Beautiful setting. Just what the tournament deserves. I must say that this year the Welsh Open has been one of the best I've ever seen, and a great advert for snooker at the moment. And of course we had a few Welsh amateurs that's done very well this week. Jack Jones has qualified in one over in Europe to qualify for the main tour, and he was playing another Welshman, Jamie Clark, in the final, and there was one in the semi, and also in the younger age group. We also had 2 finalists there, which Tyler Rees from Llanelli won that one. Welsh snooker on the up. Oh.
Yes, Terry, and it's was pleasing for me this year, obviously playing in the Master Series right around the world for Wales. It's nice that these young lads have come along and done so well, and it's nice in the main event, the European snooker, that we sent some seniors this year that have treated it as it should be treated, and they've got their just rewards. We sent 4 players, 3 of them get into a semis. They haven't done that for quite a few years, but I think that's the fact certain individuals have never given it the respect that it deserves, and as the elder generation, myself, looking on, it's been a little bit hard to swallow. So it's great that proper people are going now, and Wales are getting the results they deserve.
Eight. Nine.
I think Neil is asking the referee something. Bit of noise, or perhaps somebody's earphones are up a little bit too loud. As long as it's not an Australian saying something loud, it's okay.
40.
Undoubtedly the best player we've ever seen from Australia, I think, before. Neil had a few good players, got in close to the top 60, and of course Eddie Charlton, who's not with us anymore. I mean, he was a great player. He's never won the tournaments that Neil's won.
$15.
Well, this is
18.
the chances that crop up sometimes when nothing is in your favour. The pink and black are looking awkward. Many reds to go for.
$90.
Keep having sort of what we call half awkward shots. They're not very difficult, but just give you a bit more thought about them before you play the shot. You're looking at the blue then, I don't know what to use, perhaps seen a mark on the blue or something. He's changed a few things recently, Darren, hasn't he? He keeps pointing his cue down and bending down, looking down the line in the shots and that
24.
type of thing. I don't know what he's doing that for, really. Seems to be working.
Yes, and you'd have more of an idea of that than myself, but like you said, whatever he's doing it for. I remember Steve Davis doing something very similar,
25.
standing back and dropping the cue onto the line before he got the table, and just, I suppose, double checking that and trusting himself that he was walking in on the right line. But whatever he's doing, it's very effective at the moment. He's having a very good season.
I think he's slowing his rhythm down a bit, just settling himself all the time, and there's something about that. The longer he takes to play, it seems obviously he is on the table longer, though he's not potting the balls all the time, but it just makes you feel that he's playing very well and not missing. And you're not going to be rushing around for Ronnie OSullivan's sake, that's for sure. Can't blame him. Neil's one of these players that when he came along to this country, you know, he didn't do very well, went off tour and everything else, and I must say he's worked very, very hard in his game over the years, and now he's one of the top players and likely winner of any event he's in. All credit to him. There's quite a few players on the circuit, I can tell you, even at the higher level, that feel everything they do is right. They just carry on doing the same things all the time, despite not winning.
$35, yep.
Ronnie's just sitting there hoping he's going to get another chance.
40.
The Reds are still not in favourable positions really, apart from this first one. He'll be looking now to get a good angle somehow on colour to try and possibly dislodge these 4 Reds by the black spot.
$41.
Oh, so close there. Didn't quite get enough spin on. He just overhit the cue
44.
ball, and of course it takes longer to start. It's the backward motion then to get that spin on. You can see the arc wasn't quite sharp enough to get into the Reds.
Robertson,
3-2 in front and 44 points in front in this frame, so he's not going to be unhappy. He'll be fully aware that Ronnie OSullivan's an expert if you give him a chance later on in the frame. So good at bringing Reds off cushions, and his position play is so good. Well, he's brought a few into play, but there's 3 Reds on the side cushions and 2 on the back cushions, so there's a lot to do for Ronnie OSullivan if he does get a chance.
Yes, that was any problem with the shot that Ronnie left. Neil Robertson left him a real easy safety. He would have been playing to stuck that cue ball right up behind the brown then. As it is, he's left only a half chance at this long red. This will take good cueing. We've seen him knock a lot of them in this week. That one wasn't to be. Wasn't far off, it was a good strike. Neil Robertson's back in again. Nicely on the blue to go down for the red on the black spot.
Six. Seven. Forty. 15. $22.
So barring snookers,
Lee Robertson, 22 on the frame.
well, Ronnie OSullivan's not interested in even having a go at them, so he stays in his seat. So Neil Robertson has got his 2-frame lead back again. He now leads 4 frames to 2.
So just the break off from Ronnie OSullivan. He's left Neil Robertson a long red on. Quite sure if he can swing around and get onto the black. Well, he was trying to pot it and just come off one cushion, leave the black in the left corner. Hit it much too full. At this level, that's a chance. Where the balls were. He had a chance earlier on, Neil, to get 3 frames in front and didn't manage it, so it's hard out there if somebody keeps coming back. If Ronnie came back again now to 4-3, then he'll be starting to think, is he ever going to get away? That's what happens out there. That's the mental thoughts of the players. They're all looking for a big lead in the first session.
No real value there for Ronnie. Neil's just going to roll in off the side cushion. I don't think he can get an edge of these reds to the right, so it'll just be off the side cushion into the cluster. He's just going to have to make sure he doesn't over it. Cue ball. I think he's okay. I don't think he can get to the pot and angle of this red to the right, but I think he probably played to go into him a little bit thicker than that. He's left Ronnie a similar sort of shot to the two that he's missed. He's got an half ball red in the left corner. Earlier in the week he'd have gone for this, and he was getting a very high percentage of them in. Might just see him play the safety this time. That's what we've done. Can't blame him. He knows if he'd played the pot there and he'd missed it, he'd have been given Neil Robertson an early starter.
I can't really understand why Ronnie OSullivan's changed his shot selections from earlier in the week, because he was brilliant when he was doing that. And okay, people may say that it's tougher against Neil Robertson, it's tougher against all the players. What you've got to do is stick to what you're doing well. And his long pot in this week has been outstanding. There is another side of the coin, of course. Neil Robertson be thinking, hello, I don't have to be that tight with my safety. He's not going for the long one, so that gives him a little bit of confidence as well.
One.
Not sure if that was on, but well, if it was, he's played a poor shot. Obviously, he should have been up above the balk line with the cue ball.
Ronnie OSullivan 1.
Neil Robertson in a little bit of trouble here. Just be trying to get this cue ball tight under this top cushion. I'll be quite happy with that one. He could have got to the right hand side of the red or the yellow, that's the one he'd have been playing, but we might see him play the same sort of shot as he played last, with the red just below the green. Here's the cushion. Again, it'll just be a straight up and down. That's all really he could do there.
I don't think Ronnie OSullivan's had this much safety to play in the whole tournament before this. It was all attacking stuff and a wonderful break building. A different player, Neil. He's tough. Once again, turned a possible long red down. I mean, I don't think it was a good shot to go for, but he would have in the earlier matches. Doesn't seem in the zone at the moment, Sullivan. Of course, if you relax your butt too often, someone's going to come along and kick it. It's going to be Neil Robertson. He looks okay, Ronnie. He's very focused in his chair and just perhaps enjoying a very hard match against a very good opponent. That's what the game's about.
He needs that red to slow down. Neil can get through this, but it's near enough dead straight. This would require absolute perfect cueing. He has got the smallest of angles on this red. Can't imagine he's not going to go for this. Just needs to make sure the pot and then white should come off the side, the bottom cushion. For the black. Always hard, but he's played it to absolute perfection. He couldn't have played that any better. So that was a careless safety from Ronnie OSullivan. And, you know, it's quite stark there, the two differences. 33% for Ronnie OSullivan, 70% for Robertson. Ronnie against Mark Selby. His long game was absolutely unbelievable. And some of the long pots he went, I don't think Mark Selby could believe he actually went from never mind got him. He's refused quite a few so far in these early frames.
Sometimes it just depends on how you feel at the moment, you know. It's, you look at a shot and think, well, I fancy getting this, and then another day, exactly the same shot, and you think, I better play safe.
16.
Gotta go with your feelings. Sometimes you forget it's the Ronnie OSullivan, the person that's out there playing, not Ronnie OSullivan, just a snooker player.
70. $24.
Just have a look at the co-action here of Neil Robertson now. I mean, it's top of the tree stuff, to be honest with you. It's, he's dead straight, ramrod straight. He's one of the modern
25.
day players that pulls the cue back quite a long way before he delivers it, but with great accuracy. His grip opens and closes perfectly all the time. That's his
32.
main strength of his cue action.
$33.
Sponsor's logo is coming off. Stuck to the table. Won't be doing much without them in the sport. Expected across the sponsor here.
$40. $41. 48. 49. Yep.
Again, played that very well.
53.
Played up loads of top and left hand side. He'll be very upset now if he doesn't win this frame and extend his lead. A further frame to 3 with this
54.
effort. When he gets in amongst the balls, he's looking very, very good. At the moment, his long potting's good, his safety's good,
60.
and when he's getting in, he's scoring good, so it'll be very difficult for Ronnie OSullivan. Like we said earlier in the commentary,
61.
he's had it all his own way, really, over the last week here at this Welsh Open. He's played some unbelievable stuff. You do feel he's going to have to play some more to get back into this match
68.
for any chance of winning it.
Yes, he got a different opponent today, isn't he? I think Neil is one of the best all-round players on the circuit, together with Mark Selby and John Higgins. I'm not saying OSullivan is an all-round player, but he is, but
69.
obviously he's more into the break building. That's when he's at his very best, when he's scoring heavy. Sullivan called him the machine, didn't he, before the match? Playing against the machine.
76. 77. 77.
Well, he did hard enough, but not a good break then. 77 from Neil Robertson. He's another frame in front. First time 3 frames in front. He leads by 5 frames to 2.
Yeah, another good frame for Neil Robertson, but an increasingly difficult watch for Ronnie OSullivan supporters. We were chatting during that frame, Willie, and you were making the point that Robertson is doing what Ronnie has done so much this week, just dictating the play, dictating the pace of play.
We've said all week, haven't we? If you're going to beat OSullivan, you have to stand up to him. You have to compete with him in all departments. OK, there've been no century breaks this afternoon. We've had lots of 70 or 80 breaks. Ronnie OSullivan played a poor safety shot in the beginning part of that frame, and Robertson was left with a long red, which was quite difficult. This was the red. OK, it looks easy there, but not only is he going to pot it playing ball, he has to play it at the pace 2 cushions to come closer from the black. And from that, he went on to win the frame at one visit. And that's what we've been talking about all week. To compete with Ronnie, you have to compete with him in all departments. Break building, safety, temperament. Robertson's doing that fine.
And as Terry was saying in commentary, if you're confident, that's the sort of shot that you take in your stride.
Very rarely have I seen Neil Robertson not confident, apart from yesterday when he played Mark Allen. The first 4 frames, he was all at sea, and he came into the practice room, didn't he, and dancing and singing, saying, how on earth have I got out this session 2-2? That's the key thing. When you're playing bad, pinch frames. OK, he's playing well today, so Ronnie OSullivan's been playing catch-up all afternoon. This last frame is so important. I mean, Neil Robertson would be real strong favourite at 6-2, obviously, but 5-3 to still be anybody's game. I think Robertson's dictated the play. He's slowed Ronnie down. You know, it's no good everybody going out and trying to compete with Ronnie, playing at, breakneck speed. You know, you've got to play your own game. We saw Ebden do it in the World Championship many years ago when he really slowed Ronnie down. I mean, Robertson's not that slow, but at least he's dictating the pace of the game.
Different kind of game for Ronnie this afternoon in the final, that's for sure. Robertson back at the table, breaking off then, leading 5-2.
Yes, well, he might be dictating the game, but it still hasn't been slow. All these frames have been averaging 13 the shortest frame minutes and 17 the longest frame, so it's not long for a frame of snooker. There you go. Average frame time just under 16 minutes, which is not long at all. Okay, when Ronnie gets in and he makes his big breaks, you know, they're 7-8 minutes. Obviously Neil Robertson's a different player to Ronnie OSullivan, but he doesn't hang about whilst he's in them. I should say in amongst the balls, that is, but it's been quite noticeable so far, like Terry alluded, depending on how Ronnie's feeling. He has played different in this match to what he's played all week. He's refused a lot of long shots that he's been going for and getting them, and maybe that's the difference at the moment.
I think he's got the gap, you know. He played that quite well. It wasn't an easy safety shot. To watch it didn't wobble in the right corner, the cue ball, but I think he'd have a gap there. Black safe though. Pink is available into at least one of the 4 pockets down here. Well, it was.
1.
Now it. Is he going to knock this blue in? He is, you know. He's having a go at it. Quite right.
Six.
I think he's sensing now that it could be his day. You know, 6-2 in front if he should win this frame. Long way to go. It would be a big lead. Even against Ronnie OSullivan. He had a bad contact there. He didn't get this intended spin on the cue ball. Made a big difference. He's got quite a thin cut on the blue into the centre. You see his cue going back and forth. There's the same number all the time on shots, unless they're very easy ones and he's only just sort of clearing up towards the end of a frame when he's safe. But his method is very good. He's repeating, he's got a method, he's repeating it under pressure, and that's what it's all about.
Tells you how confident he's starting to feel, Neil Robertson. He went fully all out for that one. Okay, he didn't really have an easy safety shot. And what can Ronnie do? Balls are not in a great position. He's got the red. He's on the colour.
1.
5-3 getting out of here. It's not all lost. At 6-2. I would think it's going to be too big a task, even for the great Ronnie OSullivan.
Six. Seven.
Sullivan's best so far has been 60. He's made 2 of those in this match. No centuries as yet. See how he moves these balls about then. I'm going to give those a dig. Oh, red's going to come back and cover the pocket. Is it for the pink? just what he didn't need. Well, he's having a look. Must be very tight if he keeps looking down there, because it's a very easy pot if it'll go. Well, it does go. Seen it is through the far knuckle, so it is quite brave to play that shot.
90.
No room for error at all then.
20.
It's going to be one more good pot. Needed.
25.
There wasn't much room there at all. In off that right jaw. Well, he didn't want the cannon on the pink. He is on this pink. It's a lot thinner down the cushion than he'd have liked. And he has got a shot on the blue. He played a drag past that pink then. This is a real tester. Straight into the middle of the pocket, nicely on the red.
$31. 32. $37. 38. $43.
Well, that was a great
44.
pot. But unfortunately, he's caught the other red. There wasn't much of a gap for him to get through there. It's going to be the safety. He's limited as well to what he can play off.
Brown.
Well, he said brown, and he can hit that black full in the face. So, Neil Robertson will have this back.
OSullivan 44. Neil Robertson.
If Ronnie plays the same shot here, and he misses it, he will get warned, and he is awkward queuing.
Just closer. Yep.
And he is.
Thanks. Brown ball.
It's not far away, is it? Has he got it this time? No, he's not. Well, I can't imagine that he's going to play the same shot. He's just going to have to play onto the black this time. And again, it's awkward queuing. He fouls this time, he loses the frame.
Brown ball. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, Ronnie there didn't realise it's the three misses, but Neil has shouted down the table. You need to warn him, it's the three misses. He's got a big smile on his face, Neil Robertson. He made sure that he was aware, because if the referee doesn't warn Ronnie, he wouldn't lose the frame from it. I can't imagine he's going to play the same shot. Well, this should just be crazy. He can hit the black full ball, he can drop on the black, he can play half ball off the black. He's coming off the side cushion, just to drop in behind it. He must hit this black now, which he's done.
Big difference if that white gone in there. It would have been down in hand from Neil Robertson with a long red on. Looks like he's playing a pot here. Just a little bit on the thin side. If you'd cut that thick, you would have cannoned into the reds on the left-hand side.
Clever shot there. Anything much better than that. That was top draw. And Neil Robertson in all kinds of trouble this time. He tries to come off this red to the left of the black. Have to make sure he catches it very thin. The corner pocket's going to come into play. He's just having a little look if he can play the half ball up and down and put the white somewhere in behind the black. He's elected the slow roll. And the only problem with that shot, he's always going to give Ronnie a shot to this red, either to centre or to the green pocket. It's not an easy pot, but it's one he'll be going for. Well, he's had a kick. I don't think it makes any difference to the red. The red's gone in, but the cue ball has been lost. That was a massive kick. Now that's more like the way Ronnie has played all week.
4.
You'd have known if he'd missed the yellow. He was giving Neil Robertson an easy opportunity to get back into this frame. Okay, it had a bit of a wobble before it went in, but it was a positive shot. He's not quite past the winning post. This colour, another red.
$15. 16.
Well, he did actually play just to stand on the black to roll it across a cush, but he's going to have to play a safety now.
Neil O'Sullivan,
Yes, don't blame Neil Robertson coming back to the table. He wants 2 4-point snookers. Or one 4-point snooker and a free ball. Balls are in quite good positions. The green and blue especially. Well, if that had missed the green on the way down, that would have been a real good snooker. Well, there's a possibility of this pot down the cush for Ronnie, and if it goes in, that'll be the end of frame. And it has gone in, so that will be the end of frame. Neil Robertson will just be collecting his stuff together to leave the arena. So I think Ronnie OSullivan will be probably the happier of the two. Could have been so much worse for him. Neil Robertson's played very well in this session. Breaks of 78, 76 and 77. Ronnie hasn't been quite as good as what we've seen him all week, but he's now still in this match.
Ten.
Well, the crowd would love to just see a couple more shots played. They'll have enjoyed this afternoon's session of snooker.
14.
Both players haven't hung about. An exhibition shot, and you do feel that when he's letting his cue go and going for his shots, he looks as good as he's done all week. He just rolls the pink in, so Ronnie OSullivan, he was 3 behind. He's now back to only 2 behind. Neil Robertson's got the lead for tonight's session.